You know that feeling when you meet someone and you just click? That's what Gay BFF app is all about. It's a new app just for making friends, not dates. Actual friends in the LGBTQ plus community. Whether you just moved to a new city or you're looking to expand your circle of friends or you just want more queer friends in your life, Gay BFF makes it easy to connect with people who get you. Everyone on the app is also verified, so no AI, no bots, no fake conversations. Sign up today at gaybff.app, currently available in web browser or in the Apple Store. Hi, thanks for joining me on the Listen Up Girl podcast. I'm your host, Zach Randall Freeman. Today is Wednesday, August the 26th, and today's episode is heavy because we lost a legend. So grab your coffee, grab your drink, grab a tissue if you need it, and let's get into it. 8 stories, one queen we are saying goodbye to, and yes, only one political story today, because sometimes on days like this, we need a little more room to breathe. So let's get into it. Starting with Dolly Parton. When I got this notification yesterday, I personally was very, very sad. There's lots of celebrities that die, and I just look at the notification sometimes and think, oh, how sad. This one stuck with me all day. Dolly Parton died at the age of 80 after a brief battle with cancer. Her family confirmed the news through her nephew, who said in the video message that Dolly had asked him years ago to be the one to share it with the world when the time came. I don't think I need to tell you what Dolly meant to this community, but I'm going to anyway because she earned every word of it. This is a woman who wrote I Will Always Love You and Jolene on the same day, who funded childhood literacy and sent tens of millions of free books to kids across the country and the world, who helped fund vaccine research during the pandemic, and who decade after decade in an industry that was not always kind to us, showed up for the LGBTQ plus community without hesitation. She headlined GLAAD galas. She spoke out for marriage equality very early on. She wrote songs about acceptance from outsiders finding their people. She never made us ask twice. The tributes are everywhere today. Radio, television, podcast, anywhere you're listening that somebody's talking about Dolly. The Human Rights Campaign called her a steadfast ally who led with love. GLAAD's president said her art made space for outsiders and that her support for our community stretched back decades, long before it was easy or popular. In San Francisco, the Castro Theater marquee read, "We will always love you, Dolly," and a rainbow flag nearby was lowered to half staff. Flags at federal buildings have also been lowered through the beginning of September. So today we're not doing a news story about Dolly. We're doing a thank you. Thank you for the songs. Thank you for the books. Thank you for never treating our existence like it was a debate. Rest well, Dolly, and we will always love you too. Our next story is record high LGBTQ population data. So this next story, it's a good one to sit with today. New data released this week shows that a record 12% of U.S. adults, that's roughly 25.6 million people, now identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or gender diverse. The numbers come from an analysis of more than 2.4 million responses collected by the Census Bureau, crunched by a research arm of the largest LGBTQ plus advocacy group. Here's what makes this land differently. The data dropped in the middle of a political climate that has spent the last couple of years trying to make us smaller, quieter, harder to find. And the numbers say the opposite is happening. We're not shrinking. We're not going anywhere. We are, by the numbers, more visible than we ever have been, even while the very powerful people would prefer we weren't. Our next story is WNBA denounces bad faith trans debate. So story 3 takes us to WNBA, where league officials put a statement this week directly denouncing what they call bad faith efforts to manufacture a controversy over transgender women in the league. The statement came after a few weeks of manufactured outrage, including 2 retired male basketball players publicly declaring for next year's draft as a stunt, and it followed meeting a league's anti-hate task force. The league was blunt. There are no eligibility issues affecting the WNBA right now. It is a fight some people are picking on purpose. Several players and coaches have spoken up in the support of trans athletes throughout the season, including Minnesota Lynx coach, who said plainly that protecting trans kids is a human rights issue, full stop. Good for her and good for the league for saying it out loud instead of hiding behind a statement written by a committee. Our next story is Hadestown recast after anti-trans post resurfaces. So our next story is out of Broadway. An actor cast as Hades in the current production of Hadestown is out of the show after an old social media video resurfaced where he mocked pronoun sharing and spoke against trans athletes competing in women's sports. The producers announced the split within days of the backlash, saying only that the two sides had mutually agreed to part ways. The actor posted an apology afterwards, saying he takes full responsibility for his words and is committed to educating himself. We believe the growth when we'll see it, but where credit is due, the production moved fast, and one of his would-be castmates didn't hold back either, saying on social media that she wasn't going to stay quiet just because she wasn't the one posting. Next, London Trans Pride draws record crowd. Story 5 is generally a joyful one. Trans Pride London has just had the biggest turnover ever. An estimated 150,000 people came out to celebrate trans joy and visibility in the streets of the city. That is a record for the event, and it's happening at the moment when trans people, especially in the UK, have been under constant pressure from the politicians and press alike. I love this story because it's proof of something we say on the show all the time. Visibility isn't just a talking point, it's a head count. 150,000 people showed up to say, "We see you, we're with you," and let that sit with you for just 1 second. I love those. I love these stories when I can talk about positive things that are happening to the trans community. I love it. Next, GLAAD brings trans health conversation to Martha's Vineyard. So our next story is GLAAD hosted a panel this month at the Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival called Real Change, REEL, digging into Black film culture and the stories that shape our community. The panel featured the Emmy-winning actress and advocate alongside health equity leaders, unpacking how representation on screen connects directly to real-world outcomes for the Black LGBTQ plus people, especially around health access. It's a reminder that Pride isn't just parades and headlines. It's also rooms full of smart people doing unglamorous work of connecting cultures to policy to care. And our next story is political. California LGBTQ plus bill heads to floor votes. So here's our one political story for today, and it's actually a hopeful one for once. A slate of LGBTQ-related bills in California just cleared the legislature's physical review process and are headed to the floor. Votes in both chambers racing to meet the August 31st deadline to land on the governor's desk. Among them, a bill requiring the state's Office of Civil Rights to appoint a dedicated LGBTQ plus discrimination prevention coordinator to train school staff and administrators on identifying and preventing discrimination, and a bill expanding bereavement leave to cover chosen and extended family. A huge deal for a lot of us whose families don't always show up on a hospital form. Whether the governor signs anything that reaches his desk is still an open question, but he's known to use his veto pen when the bill comes with a price tag attached and is reportedly weighing a future national run, which tends to make politicians cautious. We'll keep tracking it as the deadline hits. And next, KATSEYE documentary hits theaters. So let's close out on something fun. The girl group KATSEYE dropped their documentary, Wild Hearts, in theaters this month. A look inside their rise, built around the never-before-seen footage and interviews within the group. It's being described as a love letter to the fans who built the group's global following from the ground up. And if you know anything about how much the fandom overlaps with our community, you know this one's worth watching. It's in theaters now. So that's 8 stories for you today. 1 goodbye, 1 record-breaking crowd, 1 messy Broadway exit, and 1 piece of hope out of Sacramento. If today's episode hit you a little harder than usual, that's okay. Go hug someone and play Code of Many Colors on your way out the door. I'll be back tomorrow with more LGBTQ news. Thanks for listening to the Listen Up Girl podcast. Have a great day.